Hello and welcome to the official YouTube channel for the NoJoshing podcast. I'm Arjun Joshua. Please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any video that I post. Thanks for all the support. Hello and welcome to the first official YouTube video for the NoJoshing podcast. This is episode 1. And today, as of this recording, we are 24 hours away from the 2026 first round of the NFL draft. What an exciting time. This is such a great, exciting time to be an NFL sports fan. Today, we're going to be doing a full first round mock drafts. There will be a bunch of trades and one big one at the top. So without further ado, let's get started. At number 1, the easiest pick that anyone can make in this draft, Fernando Mendoza, the best quarterback prospect, arguably in the last 2 years, with the Cam Ward draft in 2025. This kid is everything you want: leadership, accuracy, arm strength. You don't have the best arm strength compared to the Caleb Williams draft with Caleb, Drake, and Jaden, but this guy is everything you want in a quarterback, and I think he will be a great quarterback, maybe top 10 potential. He will be a star in this league. So Fernando Mendoza goes number 1. At number 2, now this is where the draft gets started. You have Arvo Reese, you got David Bailey. One is a better edge rusher right now. One is a better prospect talent of the future of what you want. For this draft, I'm going to go Arvo Reese. He's the better future of what the Jets want to do. They need edge rusher help, but they're not ready to win right now. So what I think that the Jets should do is get the better overall prospect for the future. You don't want to worry about winning today or winning tomorrow or winning even the next day because you're not worried about the 2026 season. You're worried about the 2027 season and getting that first overall pick. That first overall pick will help you draft Arch Manning if he does come out. Now, there will be no pressure on this. Well, there shouldn't be any pressure on the Jets to win because they're not a good team. Get the better overall future prospect, and that will help you get Arch Manning next year, and that's how to rebuild a team. So Jets at number 2 get Arvo Reese. At number 3, now this is where things get interesting. I have a blockbuster trade, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs moving up with Arizona. As of right now, we'll just give them 9 and 29 for number 3. There'll probably be more picks in the real draft on Thursday night. But with this, Kansas City Chiefs move up. They get number 3, and they draft David Bailey, the best overall edge rusher in this class. Now, Kansas City defense wasn't all that impressive getting to the quarterback. They struggled a ton getting after the quarterback, and defensive tackle Chris Jones is pretty much the only type of pressure they got all season. Now, David Bailey helps change that. It takes all the pressure off of Chris Jones, and it puts more on the surrounding cast on the edge. This helps get to the quarterback and puts pressure on Mendoza, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert. The Chiefs need to make a splash. They're not going to be drafting at number 9 next year or even the next 10 years or even until Mahomes retires. So getting the best overall edge rusher and paying a price for it will seriously help Kansas City. At number 4, Tennessee Titans. Now, Tennessee will have a great time and just make this pick as fast as possible. Jeremiah Love, our running back from Notre Dame. Now, this kid is everything you want in a running back. He's Jahmyr Gibbs plus, the speedster, the athletic ability. He is Jahmyr Gibbs plus some, whatever that means in the draft guru. He is Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs is an amazing player for Detroit. They got him in the first round, I believe at pick number 8. You're getting Jeremiah Love at pick number 4. That helps all the pressure off of Cam Ward. You help your young quarterback out. You get all the pressure off of him. You can run the ball. You can set up screens. This kid is not just a running back. You are drafting an offensive weapon. So get Jeremiah Love, turn the card in at the exact like 30 seconds as soon as this pick is still on the board for Tennessee, and run to the podium at number 4. At number 5, so here's the first of the 2 picks for the New York Giants after the Dexter Lawrence trade. This first pick, we're going to draft Sonny Styles, linebacker at Ohio State. He is the best linebacker in this class and arguably one of the best defenders in this class. Now, you can argue, Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs, or even Alvaro Reese, David Bailey, but to me, he's the best defensive player in this class. There's no doubt about that to me. You have an unbelievable athletic freak who can play off the ball, play on the ball, and get anywhere and be a chess piece anywhere on the field for Harbaugh. It's a clear fit for the New York Giants. And the New York Giants, they were really awful on defense last year. Get some help on the defense, and that way it takes some pressure off of your quarterback so they don't have to be Superman and score 50 every single day. So at number 5, Sonny Styles goes to the Giants. At number 6, so here's the next trade possibility that I have, and it's the Cleveland Browns trading back with the New Orleans Saints. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, swap first round picks. Obviously, there'll be some more compensation in this draft if trades go out. But as of right now, we're just doing swap picks for the first round. The Saints are now on the clock, and they get the best wide receiver in this class, and that's Carnell Tate. You pair him with Chris Olave, Tyler Shuck is probably the luckiest quarterback in the NFC South. Tampa Bay kind of struggled a lot on offense, and especially at the end of the season, and especially on defense. And you get Tyler Shuck, the young quarterback, some more help. Offensive line has been very good. They've been drafting offensive linemen very well. Calvin Banks last year's draft, I believe at pick number 9. This draft, Carnell Tate at 6, pair him with Chris Olave. They're kind of the same player. So both Ohio State kids, they will be a great offense. And what you want to do is make sure your young quarterback has as much possible help to help him. You need to help your young quarterback out, and this is the best way to do it. At number 7, now here's the thing that Washington cannot screw up. Your defense, for Washington fans out there, was a bottom 5 defense in football. They could not stop anybody. Now, yes, Jaden did get hurt, so it did put a lot of pressure on the defense, but the defense wasn't good. They couldn't, stop anybody. So let's get Caleb Downs, safety at Ohio State. You can play him anywhere on the field. He is a chess piece. Safety, you can put him inside or outside at linebacker. You can play him in the middle. You can play this guy anywhere on the field, and he will make plays. Do not overthink this. It is the clear best player on the board. If he falls, don't worry about positional value. Just take him. Take the best player on the board and do not hesitate. So Caleb Downs at number 7. At number 8, so this is Cleveland's first pick in this draft. They had Jacksonville's pick from last year's trade for Travis Hunter. At number 8, let's take the offensive tackle, Francis Magua from Miami. Now, you can play him at left or right tackle. He'd probably play right tackle, if I'm being honest. And give your young quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, some protection. Now, whether it's Shedeur, whether it's Deshaun Watson, hell, whether it's Dylan Gabriel, our offensive line was a mess. Now, yes, did the quarterback kind of run around the pocket, sometimes went backwards? Sure, but some of it was not his fault. Some of it was the offensive line was just horrendous. Now, if you can't block in this league, how is your quarterback going to make plays? So let's get a top-tier offensive lineman, protect your young quarterback, and let's see if wide receivers and weapons falls in the draft. Do not overdraft them at number 8. Do not overthink this. Just protect your young quarterback. At number 9, now, Arizona will be thrilled if it kind of plays out like this. Let's get Ruben Bain Jr., edge rusher out of Miami. Now, he was a top tier edge rusher last season, helping Miami get to the national championship. Um, his short arms is a concern. Now, we haven't seen a pass rusher have the arm length that he has, but he is a great player. You saw the productivity in college, and the film speaks for itself. The game speaks for itself. He is a good player. Now, if you are concerned, that's credit to you. You should be concerned, but do not overthink the room. Get the best player on the board, help develop him, pair him up with Chase Young at the other side. Don't overthink the room. Get the best player on the board, and Ruben Bain Jr. is the best player on the board. At number 10, now here's where things get a little bit interesting. I think the Giants will trade this pick on Thursday. But in this draft, I don't see someone trading up to get a player as of right now, but I do believe the Giants might trade this pick. So at number 10, I'm actually going to do a wide receiver, and that's Jordan Tyson. Now, he has an injury concern, and that is a well-documented concern. I have the same concern. But what people don't realize is he's a great player. And Jackson Dart, I think, is a good quarterback. Help him. You have Scatabo, you have Malik Neighbors, you did get you do have a good left tackle and Andrew Thomas. Now let's get Jordan Tyson. Help the offense out a little bit. I do believe you can get an offensive lineman in this draft, maybe in the second round or third round. But let's get a wide receiver. Let's help out your young quarterback. The young quarterback, how young quarterbacks have success in this league is if their general managers and their front offices help them. Offensive line, weapons, tight ends, running backs, anything to help them out is a blessing to this young quarterback. So help Jackson Dart out, get Jordan Tyson. Don't overthink the room. It's an obvious pick. At number 11, now here's not an obvious pick because this Miami Dolphins is a mess. You cannot see any organization that is a poor run organization after the Tua contract was a disaster. Brian Flores, you fired a few years ago. You fired Mike McDaniel. You fired your general manager. It's a whole new regime. It is a defensive coach, the defensive coordinator from the Packers. I do believe with Malik Willis, the new quarterback in Miami, let's get him some help on the offensive line now. Let's get Spencer Fano out of Utah. This draft is all going to be about offensive linemen falling off the board quickly. You saw in the Super Bowl, especially in the Super Bowl, where Drake May could not have any protection. And Seattle got there in 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds again, every single time, no matter if it was a sack or just a hit. If your offensive line isn't good, there's no success in this league. Quarterbacks can't have success. So get offensive line help, protect your quarterbacks. This is a theme in this draft, I believe it will be, especially in the first round. At number 12, Dallas. The Cowboys defense, let's be frank, Cowboys fans, they were the worst defense in all of football. Luckily, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, who was worse than you, but they're not in the first round with the Dexter Lawrence trade. So let's get a top-tier corner, the best corner in this class, and Mentor Delane. Now, he does have some, I wouldn't say questions, but he is the best corner in this class. There's no doubt about that. He is the only corner that I'm guaranteeing you will be in the first round because McCoy does have some injury concerns. If you did not hear Adam Schefter or Daniel Jeremiah or somebody on Twitter posted that McCoy has an injury history and, some teams are concerned about whether he needs surgery again. And will that affect his, draft stock? Will it go to the second round? Will it go late in the first? I don't think it'll affect the stock personally, but there is questions about that. But Delane is the easiest pick. Do not overthink the room. He's the best corner on the board. Yes, you need edge help, but let's see if 20 if you can fall, if there's a player you like at 20 that might fall, or maybe you trade up. Who knows? But let's get the best corner on the board. Secondary is your biggest help and biggest need. So let's get Delane out of LSU. At number 13, the Rams. Now, the Rams is probably the best overall team in football. We did see Seattle win the Super Bowl with with the best defense in football. I still think the Rams is easily the best team in football still, with the best quarterback in football still. And let's get another weapon for Matt Stafford. Let's get Malachi Lemon out of USC. You know, he's in the backyard of the Rams. You don't have to, travel all the way from like USC to, the New York. But get him. He's a great player, great athlete. What I would love to see is Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams, and Makai Lemon. That would be an electric offense. Now, you draft Makai Lemon because of some off the field questions with Puka Nakua. Some and a bunch of, is, Devontae Adams the same Devontae Adams as last year, even 2 years ago? He's getting older. You need to reamp this offense. Matt Stafford isn't getting any younger. Get as much help as Matt Stafford as humanly possible. And hey, what the hell? Maybe he could play special teams because special teams for them was a disaster. I know Sean McVay doesn't love special teams, but anywhere this kid can help you, he will help you. So Makai Lemon at number 13 to the Rams. At 14, the Baltimore Ravens. So Baltimore did lose Tyler Linderbaum to Vegas. Let's get the Penn State offensive guard. He is the best guard on the board. He's the best guard in the class. Honestly, he's the best overall offensive lineman in this class. Now, we did see a bunch of offensive linemen, or a few of them already come off the board, but overall, he's the best overall player on offensive line on the board and in this class. What you can see about him is he's an unbelievable player, unbelievable blocker. You need to help quarterbacks out. And like I said before, the theme of this draft on offensive line is protecting your young quarterback. You protect him, you will find success. Look at, Seattle last year. Look at Kansas City 2 years ago. After the disaster with the Tampa Super Bowl, they invested all in their offensive line, and it worked out. They won a Super Bowl afterwards. You need to make sure offensive lines is the number one thing on your mind when, protecting your young quarterback and helping your young quarterback out. Lamar isn't young-ish, but you did lose Linderbaum, and you can't, get another, wide receiver to throw to if no one's blocking for you. So, the offensive lineman for Penn State to Baltimore. At number 15, now, this is where things kind of get funny. Tampa Bay, I believe, should trade out. They should trade out and move back. I think someone should trade up. Not necessarily who. If I was, Dallas, I would actually trade up. I don't think anyone's trading up, but if I were Tampa, I would trade out. In this class, or in this draft, per se, I'm going to get another edge rusher off the board and Akeem Mesidor. Now, he's a sneaky talent. He is a good player. Now, I think he's one of the sneakiest players that nobody's really talking about because Bain was also on the team from Miami, which led them to a national championship. These two players, Bain and Mesidor, was unbelievable at Miami last year. And Mesidor wasn't the, overall guy that everyone's talking about. And he's kind of like, the diamond in the rough that no one's really like looking at as much as Bain is. But he's an amazing player to watch. What I think Tampa needs is getting to the quarterback. They were not good at getting to the quarterback. Todd Bowles, to me, is on the hot seat. You don't make the playoffs again, I believe you're fired. I believe you should have been fired last year, but you got another year. Let's see what you can do. Get an edge rusher. You are a defensive-minded head coach, so I do believe defense is going to be your pick. So let's get the best edge rusher on the board in Akeem Messenger. At number 16, now this is where the Jets should not draft a quarterback. I repeat, do not draft a quarterback, New York Jets. Wait till next year. I believe that Jamar McCoy, corner out of Tennessee, should go here. You lost Sauce Gardner. You gave up 2 first rounders, which is, kudos to you getting 2 first rounders. But get a corner. He's arguably a top corner in this class. But I would arguably, without the injury question marks, he's the best corner in the class. But with the injuries, it's kind of a shaky little subject. But that's a replenishment for Sauce Gardner. He's not going to be as good as Sauce that you guys picked, I believe, at 4. But getting McCoy at 16 is a great steal, and I think going to be the steal of the draft, whoever drafts him. At number 17, the Lions. Now, the Lions' offensive line is a mess. I've said this, time and time again in this video that the offensive lines is the key to, protecting young quarterbacks and success. Let's get Caden Proctor from Bama, a freak athlete, a freak type of person and player. Holy cow, this guy is great. Now, he's young. He is, he's underdeveloped, but he's a good player. You can't be, mad at that. You can put him at left tackle, you can put him at right tackle, but protecting Jared Goff is the key to the Lions' success. We saw that when they went to the NFC Championship. We saw that the next year when they went 15-1, I believe, or 15-2, something like that, when they got the number 1 seed and lost to Washington that year, that the offensive line was pretty much the main reason why of all the success. Now, Jared Goff is great, but why was Jared Goff great? Because he got a hell of a lot of protection. He didn't have to. He could sit in the pocket, call his wife, call his mom before he even makes pass. That's how great the offensive line was in Detroit that year. It was unbelievable. So let's get Caden Proctor and let's relive the glory days of that year. At 18, Minnesota. Now, this will be a Brian Flores level pick. He is the best defensive coordinator in the league. He got a hell of a lot of money to stay in Minnesota. As if you remember, he could have went to Pittsburgh. They, Minnesota offered him more money to stay. He stayed. Let's get the safety out of Oregon. Good player, good leader, good ball handling on the safety. Easy player to move around on the defense. You're not going to be mad about him. You do need safety. You do need some more defensive depth as well. And I believe you're going to be good based on the defense. Now, is J.J. McCarthy or Kyler Murray going to – who knows what the quarterback position is even going to look like in September. But getting a good defense is always going to be helping, whatever quarterbacks in, under center. And number 19, now this pick is going to be is our quarterback Bryce Young a good quarterback? Now this quarterback or this player, I would say, Kenan Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon, he will determine if Bryce Young is, worth an extension. You signed the 5th-year option. Was it a smart idea? I don't know. I personally, I understand why they did it, to see if he's a good quarterback, but let's not fool ourselves. If this is his last year in Carolina, they're going to be drafting a quarterback next year, but let's see if Bryce Young even develops a bit more. It's not about getting to the playoffs, but it's about looking good. It's about the stats. To me, it's about the stats. You have to have a good statistical season, whether you make the playoffs or not. The hope is to make the playoffs, but you have to have the stats to back it up. If you don't have the stats to back it up and you just make the playoffs, is it because your defense? Is it because of the weapons around you? Is it because of the coach? We don't know based off of what you did. So Kenan Sadiq, get Bryce Young some more help. You drafted Ted McMillan last year. it was a good pick. And let's double down on offense. At number 20, Dallas. Now, this is where Dallas is actually really excited about this. You know, get Keldrick Folk, edge rusher out of Auburn. You do need edge help. You're not overdrafting the player, but you're waiting it out. Let's see if he does not fall, or let's say he does fall, and you want to trade back. Trade back. This draft is all about either getting more picks for next year's class and trading back or getting the best overall talent. Positions do not matter this year. It's about the best player on the board. Does it fit your position of need? I would hope so, but getting the best player on the board is a no doubt. Do not, overthink the room. Get the best player on the board. I think Folk is that player. It's also a position of need because Dallas was terrible on defense. So Folk, number 20 to Dallas. At number 21, Pittsburgh. This is where the draft is being held. This is what are you doing with the quarterback? Everyone's going to be wondering, is Aaron Rodgers coming back? I believe he's coming back. I don't have a doubt he's coming back. I think it's just a facade to, I don't even know what's happening. This is the same thing like last year. We didn't know until, I don't know when, a few months. It was definitely after the draft last year that he made everyone wait. But if he is coming back, let's get an offensive line to help him out. So I am picking Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson, to Pittsburgh. Best player, offensive tackle on the board to me. Freeling is that player as well, but I don't think he would go here. I think they would want a secure tackle that would help Aaron Rodgers out. Aaron Rodgers is a very prickly player. He needs to make sure that the offensive line is perfect. The wide receivers are good. The defense is good. You got DK. You got the kid from Indianapolis. I'm blanking on his name. If I remember, I'll spit it out. But this offense isn't going to be the problem. Their offense was actually pretty good last year compared to what I originally thought it was going to be. Now, yes, do they have problems? Absolutely. They were. Aaron Rodgers isn't that amazing of a player anymore. It's he's a Hall of Famer, but time, the old man kind of comes out at times. Especially against the good teams. So Blake Miller, get Aaron Rodgers some help on the offensive line, protect him. Like I said before, offensive line is key to success. And this class is going to be full of offensive linemen coming off. At number 24, and speaking of offensive line, Justin Herbert is a what-if quarterback. What if the offensive line is healthy? So let's get him a offensive guard out of Texas A&M. Now, this is a what-if quarterback. We all know, what if the offensive line was healthy last year? Then the year before, what if, the offensive line was healthy last year again? It's the same old thing, and he was terrible in the playoff game against the Patriots. Yes, the offensive line was hurt. I understand that. I get that. No problem. But if you're a top 5 quarterback, sometimes you have to overcome the obstacle of the offensive line. But let's double down. Let's get him an offensive lineman. Let's help him out. Play him at center or play him at probably left guard, I would say. But don't overthink the room. Protect your quarterback. Now it's all about Justin Herbert. The pressure is all on Herbert. Is he going to deliver? Or is he going to be the same old Justin Herbert in the playoffs, having, some turnovers, sacks, bad decisions, and losing pretty much every playoff round 1? At number 23, the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, this team is, I don't know what to say with this team after the A.J. Brown, story from Schefter, and then the ESPN article about Jalen Hurts, about is he, what is he a good, teammate or a good leader or even a good player? That all kind of questions surrounding this. I don't buy. I do buy the AJ Brown trade. I do buy that. I do believe he'll be traded on July 1st. I do believe it's going to be to the Patriots. What I don't believe is that they're going to be drafting on defense. they're going to be getting an offensive lineman. Now, like I said before, offensive lineman is key to success. You've heard this story before in this video, but it's the truth. Lane Johnson is getting older. He debated about retirement after the season, so it was kind of weird, all that stuff about the retirement, which is kind of interesting. So let's get Monroe Freeling out of Georgia. Howie loves Georgia players, so it's a key fit for Philadelphia. I honestly do believe something out of Philadelphia is coming on draft night, whether it's a big trade up or whether somebody's coming up to Philly. Something's happening in Philadelphia that we have no idea about, and I think it's going to be a bombshell on Thursday night. Now, the exciting part about it is, 24 hours before the draft, we have no idea what's going to happen, and it's all prediction of is this going to be true or not. So let's see what Howie and Philly does tomorrow. On to number 24, Cleveland. Now, I told you, Cleveland, when you wait, the you get the litter will fall to you. So Omar Cooper out of Indiana goes to number 24, the Cleveland Browns. Once you wait for the wide receivers, they'll kind of fall to you. It's about protecting the quarterback. It's about giving the quarterback a weapon. So Omar Cooper Jr. at number 24. It's a kind of easy pick for them. I honestly won't be surprised if they do trade out and get more picks for next year. But Omar Cooper Jr., number 24, frankly, is actually a really great player. You saw against the Penn State game with Gus Johnson doing an unbelievable play-by-play with Joel Klatt on Fox with the catch against Penn State. But, he's going to be a good player. So don't overthink the room. Omar Cooper, number 24, Cleveland. At number 25, now here's what the Bears should do. Honestly, every team kind of should do this. If your player is not available, trade back. Do not reach for somebody. But luckily, a player that I like for Chicago is their Caden McDonald. This defensive line was a little bit of a question mark last year getting to the quarterback. You honestly did a very good job drafting on the offensive side of the ball last year, in year one with Ben Johnson. So now let's double down on the defensive side. Let's get the defensive tackle. Maybe in the second round, you trade up and get a secondary type of player, maybe a safety, if one might fall. But get Caden McDonald, a great player, Ohio State. These Buckeyes are very good, and I don't know how many we have right now. So, but we got a bunch of Buckeyes already off the board. So Caden McDonald going 25 to Chicago. And number 26 is Buffalo. Now, Brandon Bean kind of hinted at helping out the young quarterback and Josh Allen. He's not young anymore, but he's still, to me, a young quarterback compared to Aaron Rodgers. So, sorry for the shots at Aaron Rodgers today. But let's get him a weapon. Let's get him Casey Concepcion, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Keon Coleman we saw last year. Some of the games was a healthy scratch. Some of the games he was actually hurt. Some of the games he kind of got quietly benched. But that way, all the pressure is not on him anymore to be a wide receiver one. You have Shakir, you have DJ, you have Casey, and now you have Keon. You got a good wide receiver room. Josh Allen we cannot be complaining and saying what more can we do to help Josh Allen out. So Casey Concepcion, wide receiver at Texas A&M, goes to Buffalo. At number 27 is the San Francisco 49ers. Now, a few days ago, Trent Williams did get paid a 2-year, $50-something million. I don't remember exactly what the deal was, but he did get paid, so he is the left tackle for at least next year. But let's get him another offensive lineman. Caleb Lamu, left tackle out of Utah. Now, offensive line, like I said before, key to success. You've heard the story time and time again. But, it's the truth. You saw last year when Trent Williams was not on the field and Brock Purdy looked not good. He looked bad. But if you when you saw Trent Williams on the field, he looked like a pretty damn good quarterback. So is it yes, is it McCaffrey? Is it Kyle Shanahan's offense? Absolutely. But it's also the offensive line and protection. That's with every quarterback. So Caleb Lamu can be at right tackle for now. Trent retires. You can switch him over at left. Honestly, he can even be a backup to Trent. You're learning from the best left tackle in all of football, arguably in the past 10, 15 years. So do not overthink the pick. The worst thing you could do is overthink um these picks like this. So offensive tackle Caleb Lamu from Utah going to San Francisco. At number 28, this is where another offensive tackle goes off the board. Tackles galore is getting off the board. The kid out of Arizona State goes to the Houston Texans at 28. Same thing with the Bryce Young. You got the fifth year option on CJ Stroud, but since your rookie year, CJ Stroud has not been good. He has kind of dipped down a little bit by a little bit. The playoff game against Pittsburgh, you had 4 fumbles. The playoff game against New England, you had like 4 or 5 interceptions. You were awful, and your defense was the only reason why you were even good all year. Um, but let's get an offensive lineman. Let's help you out. Let's protect you a little bit. You do have some pretty good weapons on the outside. You have an amazing defense. You just paid Will Anderson Jr. the highest paid defensive player in the NFL in history. So we can't be complaining about that. So let's get the offensive tackle from Arizona State to Houston. At number 29, the second pick for the Arizona Cardinals after the Kansas City trade up earlier in this draft. And this is where I think that a little quarterback that Dan Orlovsky loves, Ty Simpson, goes here to the Arizona Cardinals. Sorry for this little shot, but I think he's a fine quarterback. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's awful, but I don't believe he's a first round quarterback. I think he's a top tier second round quarterback that I do understand why you take him in the first round because of that valuable fifth year option. So don't if you like Ty Simpson, take him. If you don't like him, maybe you can get some extra picks. Someone trade up, but you still have that second round pick, which is the second overall pick in the second round on Friday. So, but we're taking Ty Simpson. They need a quarterback. You do have the offensive line kind of settled. You did get a great edge rusher in this class. You do have a good wide receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr. You do have a good tight end in Trey McBride. So you have some help around your quarterback. You got the tackle, got the weapons around you. So now it's about, is he good? We'll see about that. I don't think he's going to be as good as Fernando Mendoza, but if he's a fine quarterback, we'll see what he is. I'm not expecting much, but we'll see. So at number 30 is the second pick in the second round or in the first round for Miami. This is via Denver, the trade for Jalen Waddle. And this is where we're going to go kind of offensive weapon. We're going to go Denzel Boston here, a wide receiver out of Washington. Now, you did lose Jalen Waddle, but let's recuperate Jalen Waddle for an offensive weapon, Denzel Boston. Good size, good height, good hands. He's a good player. Don't overthink this. He's a good player. He might not be the best player on your board per se, but good players. And as a head coach, or maybe be a defensive minded head coach, but give your quarterback some help. You got I believe the left tackle Spencer Fano out of Utah. Let's get a top weapon. Got Chan in the backfield. You're not going to be good next year, but that's okay. We're just going to see how it plays out. This is the time to rebuild the roster after the terrible contract Miami gave Tua Tagovailoa. So Denzel Boston to Miami at number 30. At 31, we're gonna take. Now this is tough. New England needs a lot. New England needs some edge help. I do believe New England also needs wide receivers help. If they are getting AJ Brown, um, edge is an important one. Offensive tackle, they're not great offensive tackles and guards on the board. I think it's too early for those. But edge, I think Zion Young goes to New England here. Now, this is where New England cannot. This is where New England should actually trade back. Now, you don't have. You're drafting in the top tier or the bottom tier in the first round. After a while, this is the first year Vrabel is drafting. After pick 4, I believe. They picked I think number 3 or 4 last year. Got Will Campbell, solid tackle, not amazing in the Super Bowl. He was actually awful in the Super Bowl, to say it lightly. But Zion Young, good edge rusher. What New England needs is edge. Now you need to get after the quarterback. You actually were pretty good at getting after quarterbacks, but was it because the other quarterbacks and offensive lines were awful and the easy schedule? Or was it you were actually a really good defense? I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know Zion Young will actually help your defensive line. And whether last year was a fluke or not, this will help prove to the world and prove to me and a bunch of other skeptics that, hey, New England's here and New England's not going away. So Zion Young goes to the AFC champion Patriots. At number 32, the Super Bowl champs, Seattle Seahawks. Now this pick, Seattle needs running back. The the running back out of Notre Dame is a good pick. I think it's too early. You can go safety, but you kind of drafted a safety last year. You don't really need safety. You don't really need corner as much. You can draft him in the second round. Defensive tackle is always a top tier pick. But to me, I would actually go edge rusher TJ Parker out of Clemson. Now, these are my full results for the 2026 first round of the NFL draft. Um, it's going to be an exciting time. I can't come soon enough. I am super excited to watch this first round. Thanks for watching. A little advice for people who are watching the NFL draft: turn off Twitter, turn off Instagram, turn off social, and just enjoy it. Do not get spoiled. Peter Schrager says this every year. We don't want to hear people spoiling picks and tweeting them out, you know, 2 minutes before the commissioner announces it. Just watch it, enjoy it. Enjoy whatever platform you're watching it on, ESPN, NFL Network, anywhere on YouTube or anything. I will try to get my full reactions after the draft. So probably after Saturday, all a full Saturday is where I'll probably get my full reaction to it. I won't go full team by team, but I'll go my like shock of the draft and whether that's a good pick or not. I'll especially go with Dallas to see what they do on that number 20 pick. That'll be a very fascinating story to see if Jerry Jones screws it up or not. But let's see. Enjoy the draft this weekend. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, support us on social. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.